All right, let's talk about Vegas. Now, you probably think of it as, a city, a fun place to go on vacation. But what if I told you it's not really a city at all? It's a machine. A perfectly engineered, multi-billion-dollar psychological machine designed for just one thing, to get your money, but in a way that makes you feel so good about it, you can't wait to come back and do it all over again.
And get this, that machine is getting scary efficient. So in 2025, something weird happened. Vegas actually saw a 7.5% drop in visitors. That's the first time that's happened since the pandemic. So fewer people are showing up, right? And they're staying for shorter trips. And yet, casino revenue didn't just go up, it smashed every record in the book. It hit an all-time high. How does that even work?
Yeah, we're not talking about a little bump here. We are talking about $15.8 billion. Just let that number roll around in your head for a moment. That is more money than ever before, pulled from fewer people. You just don't get those kinds of results by accident. Something else is going on. So that's the big puzzle we're going to solve today. How on earth can fewer people spending less time in the city end up handing over more money to the casinos than ever before? It seems impossible, right? Well, the answer isn't about economics. It's about psychology. It's about cognitive science. See, Vegas has basically perfected the art of hacking the human brain, and it does it in three very specific layers. All right, let's peel back that first layer. It all starts with the environment itself, the physical space. The second you step foot inside a casino, the hack begins. They're targeting your senses, and most importantly, your sense of time. There's a fancy term for this, temporal dissolution. But really, it's just a complex way of saying they're trying to break your internal clock. And sure, the whole no clocks, no windows thing is the part everyone knows, but it goes so much deeper than that. Think about it. The lighting is always the same. The temperature never fluctuates. The constant hum and dinging of the machines, it's the exact same at 3 in the afternoon as it is at 3 in the morning. Your brain has zero clues to figure out how much time has passed. And what's super interesting is that there are two totally different schools of thought on how to do this. You've got the old school Bill Friedman entrapment design. This is all about low ceilings, confusing maze-like layouts, basically making you feel a little trapped so that it's hard to find the exit. But then you have the newer Roger Thomas playground design. Think the Bellagio, high ceilings, open spaces, pure luxury. It's not trying to trap you, it's trying to seduce you into wanting to stay. But here's the kicker. Whether it's a cage or a playground, the goal is the same, to make 6 hours at the blackjack table feel like maybe 2 tops. Okay, so they've got your sense of time all messed up. That's layer 1. Now for layer 2, the games themselves. This is where they go straight for your brain's reward system. And this right here is probably the most powerful, most devious weapon they have. It's called the near-miss effect. You know the feeling, right? You're at a slot machine. 2 cherries line up, and the third one stops just 1 click away from the jackpot. You lost. Objectively, you lost, but your brain doesn't see it that way. It fires off a little jolt of dopamine, the same chemical you get from an actual win. The machine is engineered, literally built, to make losing feel just like winning. And they double down on this with something called losses disguised as wins. This is just wild. Imagine you bet $5 on a spin. You win $3 back. The machine goes nuts. Lights flash, bells ring, it throws a whole party for you. But wait a minute, you're still down $2. It doesn't matter. Your brain just got all the signals of a victory. It completely blurs the line between winning and losing until you can't even tell the difference. And these aren't just clever tricks. They have real, devastating consequences. The rate of problem gambling in the state of Nevada is 7.5 times the national average. Let me say that again, 7.5x. That's not a coincidence. That is the direct result of an entire environment engineered to create and feed addiction. Okay, so they've hacked the space you're in. They've hacked the game you're playing. The third and final layer, this is where they hack you, your relationship with money, and even your idea of who you are. So behavioral economists talk about this thing called the pain of paying. You know what it is? It's that little sting, that hesitation you feel when you pull physical cash out of your wallet to pay for something. It feels real. Well, you can bet casinos have spent decades, a century even, figuring out how to make that pain completely disappear. And they've built this whole system, this architecture of financial detachment to do it. It's a journey. First, you take your very real cash and you trade it for these colorful little plastic chips. Suddenly, it's not money, it's a game piece. Then you put those chips on a table and they become digital numbers on a screen, even more abstract. And when you finally cash out, you don't even get money back, you get a paper voucher. Every single step is designed to put more distance between you and the cold, hard reality of the money you're actually spending.
But it goes even deeper than your wallet. It's about your identity. Think about the most famous marketing slogan of all time. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. That's not just a catchy phrase, it's a psychological hall pass. It gives you permission to stop being you and to become Vegas you. And Vegas you is a different person, bolder, takes more risks, and doesn't worry about the consequences back home. And let me tell you, Vegas you is a way more profitable customer for the casinos.
And this Vegas you is, frankly, terrible at math. Our brains are just not wired for statistics, and casinos prey on that. It's brilliant, really. If you're losing, your brain tells you, hey, black has come up 5 times in a row, red is due. That's the gambler's fallacy. But if you're winning, your brain says, don't stop now, you're on a hot streak. That's the hot hand fallacy. See the trap? Losing or winning, your brain comes up with the perfect reason to do the exact same thing. Keep playing.
And then comes the final nail in the coffin, the sunk cost fallacy. This is that voice in your head that says, I'm already down $600. I can't leave now. I have to stay and win it back. Here's the hard truth. That money is gone. It's a sunk cost. But the feeling, the emotional weight of that loss is what keeps you chained to that table, chasing losses and almost always just digging a deeper hole.
Okay, so we've pulled back the curtain. We've seen how the machine is built. We've identified all the psychological traps. So that leads to the million-dollar question. Now that you know all this, can you actually beat the house? So let me just ask you straight up. You now know about temporal dissolution, the near-miss effect, losses disguised as wins, the whole playbook. Does knowing how the trick works actually protect you from it? The answer, backed up by decades of psychological research, is simple. No. And the reason why is something called the introspection illusion. It's this mistaken belief we all have that just because we understand a bias, we're somehow immune to it. But here's the thing. These casino hacks aren't aimed at your smart, logical, conscious brain. They're targeting the deep, ancient, emotional parts of your brain. It's like an optical illusion. You can know the 2 lines are the same length, but you can't stop your eyes from seeing one as longer. It's the same thing here. You can know the near miss is a trick, but you can't stop your brain from giving you that little dopamine hit. So what does this all mean? It means the only defense that actually works isn't about being smarter or having more willpower. It has to be structural. It's about making decisions for your future self before you ever step into that casino. Psychologists call them pre-commitment devices. Basically, it's your rational, clear-headed self setting rules that the impulsive, Vegas you isn't allowed to break. Set a hard budget before you even leave home. Take only that amount in cash and lock your cards in the hotel safe. Set an alarm on your phone for when you have to leave. Tell a friend your plans so they can hold you accountable. At the end of the day, the casino is designed to win. That's not a conspiracy, it's just the business model. The house always has the edge. So the real question you have to ask yourself isn't, how can I win? The real question is, what's my price of admission? How much are you willing to pay for the entertainment, for the experience? Because deciding that number ahead of time and sticking to it, that is the only game you can ever truly win in Vegas.